Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. And I'm proud to represent a constituency with so many fantastic small businesses, and those in Broxbourne are likely to be small business employers more than the national average. Entrepreneurs in the towns and villages I represent are working hard, taking risks, day in, day out, growing our local economy and creating jobs. Last month, I was told by a government minister who stood at the dispatch box that I was sort of right when private business create growth. Well, let me gently tell the government, it is not the government that creates economic growth in this country. It is all of the thousands of business owners across the country, outside of this place, that work hard day in, day out, creating jobs right across the country, investing in their companies and investing in their supply chains. And we have listened to the debate from across the House, and we've had some good speeches from this side of the chamber about how it is business that create economic growth and not government. And it was sort of alluded to by a Labour MP whose constituency escapes me, that the national insurance increase of £25 billion, the employment regulation of £5 billion, doesn't really matter to family businesses because they're quite small and they don't employ many people. Well, that is no way to treat family businesses in this country. We should be saying to family businesses in this country, the sky is the limit. We should be saying, invest in your business, grow that business, we'll help you, we'll support you, we'll create the right environment for you to take those risks, because it is a massive risk when you put your life savings, you put blood, sweat and tears into the business that you want to grow, particularly from your home when you're starting a new business. And it is an incredible risk to say, do you know what, I'm going to take that jump. I'm going to make an offer to someone, I'm going to employ my first employee. We should be creating the environment to be able to people to be able to do that. Because the more of them we have, the more family businesses that upskill, that create local jobs, that invest in their business, the more money the Treasury gets. So the more money we can spend on our public services. We should not be hampering businesses. So I think that was a ludicrous point from one of the members opposite.
Will my honourable friend give way?
I will give way.
My honourable friend is making a very powerful point. I think the allied point is, having listened to most of this debate, is that whilst Labour members opposite seem to give justification as to why they need to raise these taxes, which I entirely, like him, disagree with, we've not had a single word from them about what impact these tax rises are going to have on family farms, family businesses and employers.
My honourable friend makes a very important point, and when I go out and speak to farmers, as he does in his constituency and I do in mine, and small business owners, I haven't met one that thinks the government's on the right path. So I don't know who Labour members go out to and speak to in their constituencies, because, well, I hear from a secondary position that it's trade unions, and that is probably correct, because when I go out and speak to businesses and farmers in my constituency, they think the government has sold them down the river, led them up the garden path, and is completely doing things that they did not think they were going to do when they were going to get into power. And we haven't heard from the government what it is doing to support businesses and to support family businesses. Now, what it could have said, and I hope that... I will give way.
I thank him for giving way. He's speaking with great passion about his constituency, and I do understand some of the concerns that he's raised. But he asks what the current government's doing. You know, apart from all the money we're putting into the NHS, and apart from all the money that's going into education, apart from that, what are we doing? He earlier gave the example of a single person running a business about to employ their first person, which is a big step for any business, I accept that. But is it not the case for those really small businesses? They're actually going to be paying less national insurance tax now after this budget. Thank you.
I thank the honourable member for his intervention. When I go out and speak to businesses in my constituency, they are putting off investing, they are putting off employing local people because of the jobs tax his government is introducing and because of the new regulation his government is again introducing. Now, we haven't heard from the government, and I hope when the minister winds up, they can actually say about what we're going to do to create the next generation of entrepreneurs. Now, we could turbocharge the education system. Now, we've got lots of fantastic teachers in my constituency and across the country that do a sterling job for the young people in this country. Now, what we could say is, we could say to people that have created businesses, well, if you go back to your secondary school, we'll give you some money off your tax bill if you go and teach and not from a textbook, from real life experience about how to create growth, how to create jobs, how to create a business, and really infuse those students to how to create their own businesses, because you haven't got to go to a maths class to understand maths, but you could have someone come in that's run a business and say, right, we've got to do your accounts now, you've got to see how much you're going to pay people, you've got to see how much tax you're going to pay. You can get people from the creative industries to say, right, now you've got to design your logo. How are you going to do that? Design your TV advertisement from for your product, what you're going to sell, what you're going to be able to go out there and do. We could be doing that. We could be thinking outside the box. And I haven't heard what support the government is giving to creating the next generation of entrepreneurs. Because if we don't unlock their aspiration and we don't continue to allow people in this country to take those risks and invest in their ideas, there will be no taxes coming in. There will be no money for public services. Absolutely. We must do this, and we must do it more regularly. So I hope when the government minister gets to the dispatch box, when he does his summary, that he actually tells the House how he is going to unlock the next generation of entrepreneurs, how we are going to support people to take those risks. And as I said, it is a massive risk. But this is why the government's rhetoric of I will give way one last time.
Does he agree with me that if young people can't get to work due to broken public transport, due to potholes or due to illness, then ultimately that will hold back the next generation of young people? And does he not agree that we are taking steps to fix those problems?
Yes. Well, I thank the honourable gentleman for his intervention, and he is supporting a party that is actually cutting the capital budget for transport. Yes. Now, what the government could be doing, and I've made this point time and time and again, it could be taking on the utility companies that dig up the roads endlessly, so my residents have to sit in traffic, and I expect many of our residents do from across the country, costing the taxpayer and this economy billions of pounds. If we get people to the shops quicker, if we get people to work quicker, if I get my traders, my electricians and my builders to their sites quicker to be able to do jobs, that will unlock growth. That will mean that they've got more pounds in their pocket to spend on the local high street that we need to protect. That will be that they will be able to take those risks and employ people. But I haven't heard that from the government. I haven't heard that we're going to take on utility companies. I haven't heard we're going to unlock the aspiration of the next generation in this country through our education system. So I would gently say to the honourable members opposite, you have said in your manifesto, in your election campaign, we are the government of economic growth. But the reason why that is not working is because you fundamentally do not understand that it is private business in this country, it is our hard-working constituents in family businesses that create economic growth. It is not this disastrous Labour government. Yeah.